Hello everyone, and welcome to Mark Knoll Horsemanship. Here we are with Drifter today on a beautiful Tuesday afternoon, and today what we're going to be working on, Drifter, is a 3-year-old, for those that's never seen him before, 3-year-old quarter horse gelding that's been here. I'm not quite sure, but we're either at a month or a little ways past it or a little ways before it. I don't have my records in front of me, but we're working on a month here. And 3.5 weeks, something. Anyway, what I'm going to be working on today with Drifter is introducing a spur to it. Now, the reason I am, you don't hear me talk a lot about spurs because usually a horse is not with me long enough before I start working them in a spur. But before I go any further, I want to show you my spur. These are about worn out. I've had them for a long time, and can you see them good right there, babe? Mm-hmm. And they're just, they're very blunt, they're very worn out, and they're just a little bit more, they're just a little bit better than my heel. So in other words, they distribute pressure in a more confined area than my heel does. So what I'm going to be doing is these are just the introduction spurs. Well, it's really my only set of spurs. I've never seen to where I need much more than that, more vigorous. And you notice the shank on them is very short. Now the reason I like the shank short is because when I start working a young horse in spurs, or any horse really, I always ask, of course I ride with my heels down like you're supposed to. That's the proper etiquette of riding, or proper position of your feet while riding, I should say. And I'll ask with my Achilles and part of my heel. Now, if they don't listen, then I'll roll that spur up in them with, by putting my toe down and my heel up. So that's why I like a short spur, because I don't have to, there's still a lot of space there that horse has the chance to move. And if he don't move, then the spur finally makes contact and I reinforce with the spur. Have I ever gouged a horse with a spur? I'm not going to say I haven't, but I don't do it often. And the reason I do it is sometimes if a horse ain't listening, and as you can see, it's not going to pierce his skin. These ain't. And we've all lost our patience a time or two. So I'm not going to lie and say I've never gouged a horse with a spur, but I'm also not going to say that that's proper all the time, or really any time. Spurs are meant for refining, fine-tuning, not for punishment. So so the way I like to do it is I like to introduce it to them, the spur to them on the ground first. This colt here, I think he so far has been pretty laid back, but let's talk about first why I'm putting a spur on him and I haven't some of the other colts. He's getting a little bit, too used to my heels. In other words, I've thumped him and I've thumped him and I've thumped him, and he's not responding. He is responding, but not as quickly and as immediate as I'd like him to. So we're going to enhance my heel a little bit by putting this spur on him. So that's the reason why I'm using a spur on him. It's not for speed. I can get him going, but it's to listen. He needs to start listening. So you can only thump them and push so hard with a bare heel. And if they're not listening to that, then, that's when I think you ought to get a little bit sharper of a heel, which would be a spur. So the way I like to do it is I like to pretend that this spur is on my heel, or let me rephrase that. I like to pretend that this spur is going to touch him the first time the same spot it would if I was riding him. So I'm going to come right here behind my stirrup, and I'm going to pull his head to the side, and then I'm just going to walk. I'm going to press, just like right here. See, I'm pressing with everything in me right there. He got off of it. Now, what is the ups and downs to this? What are the things you're looking for? Well, the things I look for is their overall disposition. Like just now when I laid this spur against him, no reaction out of him really at all. Now that's good but at the same time, that means I'm going to have to push harder with my leg. My leg is going to be stronger than my arm. But like I said, I'm going to turn that nose a little bit. I'm going to press right here. Just go press. Just go press and wait on him to move away from that. And if I have to jiggle and poke a little bit, I will. Right there, and he moved away from it. Now that tells me that he's not going to be that bad about spurs. But it also tells me that it's probably a good thing that I'm going to introduce him to it. What have you seen happen before in the past with other horses? Good question. I've had horses kick out by doing this on the ground. I've had them pin their ears and maybe turn and act like they're going to bite me. You know, just ill mannered before. And with him though, so far so good. Now I'm just going to press right here again. Press, press. Right there, he moved away from it. So I'm going to do that again. I'm going to press, press. Now right there, he acted like he was going to curl that head around my arm. Right there. Now he's moving off my leg. That's good. So with that being said, I don't think he's going to be that bad. So what we're going to do, we were going to do this video outside today. It's a beautiful day. But the wind's blowing a little bit harder up there. My wife's phone is the only one that I can use the microphone on. It works on my phone, but I got to take my OtterBox and my case and all that off to get the plug-in thing to work. So I'm not going to go through all that trouble just to use my mic today. So I think I'll just stay in here and we're going to put these spurs on where they belong, which is on my heels, and get him bridled. And I'm going to ride him around here and start teaching him to get off my legs, to respond to my legs. And I think it's going to be a fun session. So we'll be right back. And we're back. So here we are with Drifter. Like I said, I got my spurs on my heels where they belong. And we're just going to teach him to move off my spurs today. But first, I just want to give him didn't do anything to him. I lunged him around before I did the little introduction there with using the spur with your hand, but I didn't do anything riding him yet. So I'm going to move him around here a little bit. Now if you notice right here, I'm asking him actually to trot out with my legs, and he's starting to kind of ignore my legs. You can see me waving my legs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tip his nose a little bit to the left right here, and I'm just going to use my spur to gently, along with clucking, ask him to what? Move out in a little trot. Right there. Now, that could have went good, like it did, or it could have went bad. Now, how could have it went bad? Well, it could have went bad if I was rude with my spurs, but I'm not. I gently asked him. I got a little bit more firmer as we went, but that was about it. I didn't just ride her back and gouge him. So we're going to ride him around here just to get him loosened up. You can see when he starts wallering that head around, he wants to quit trotting. Hey, I don't want to work today either, I'll be honest with you, but I have to, so just going to ask him to move out right there. Just warm this coat up a little bit, maybe, and see if we can get a little bit of a canter. Right there. Should be good and sufficient enough. Try him around this way. You don't have to do anything major. Just move his feet. See right there? He wants to quit on me. There we go. All right. He likes them one-range stops. Now, Really not a big deal. Just got him moving his feet. Now I'm just waiting on him to get soft here. And find his balance. Right there. We'll go through what he already knows. He knows how to walk, trot, lope, both directions. He knows how to get soft laterally with this bridle, both ways, right and left. We're just doing a recap here. He knows how to yield that hind quarter. At least he did. There he comes. Right there. Right there. He knows how to do that both ways. Get him over here where you can see. Yield that hind quarter this way. Right there. He knows how to vertically get soft. Right there. He knows how, with impulsion of my legs, with the waving of my leg, he knows how to back up, starting to. Right there. We'll rub him for that. With impulsion of my legs, softness vertically, I'll ask him to back up again. Now right here, I'll ask him with my spur a little bit. Now, see, let me come up here where y'all can see me. Now watch this. I want you to watch my feet, my heels. Now I'm going to break him over vertically first. Ask him to get soft right there. Now I'm just going to wave my legs. I'm waving. I'm putting energy in my legs. He's giving me a step, but I'd like him to be a little bit more, so I don't mind to bring that spur up in here. Right there. Hold on, it's coming. You hear him grunting a little bit, and that's okay. He needs to take life right there. We'll wait on him to get soft here, right there. He needs to take life just a tad bit more serious. That's why we went to the spur. So I'm going to wait on him right here to get soft. And we'll wave my legs. We'll give him an opportunity. Give him an opportunity. That's pretty good right there. No need to add the spur. That's nice. Right there. That's nice. So there's what he knows. And it's green. You know, and I'm not claiming that all that is perfect. I'm not claiming that all that is just absolutely wonderful. But it's a start. And that's what I do for a living, is I start colts. Now, while we're on that subject, I want to talk about that for 2 minutes. There's a lot of confusion on what I do for a living, and I'm not the only one that does it. But my advertisement says, Mark No Horsemanship, colt starting and problem solving. Now, since he's a colt, let's talk about the colt starting part. What does that mean? That means I take a colt, a young horse, that is under 4, because once they're 4, they're considered a horse. So a horse that's under 4, and I started. That could be from weanling, of getting them weaned from their mama, and teaching them to lead, and teaching them to be touched and handled. Or that can be a yearling. That can be a yearling that just needs handled, too young to ride, too young to saddle, just handled, taught some round pen work, touched, rubbed on, feet picked up, doing all the things that we need him to do. And that also goes in that category of from 2-year-old to 3-year-old to 3 and 11 months. Because like I said, after that, they become a horse. Now, does that mean I don't do them? Didn't say that. I'm just trying to be technical here on what colt starting means. Now, the word starting means that I start. It doesn't mean that I finish them. There's no way I can finish a horse in 90 days. And that's most of the time about the gist of time that I get with these colts. So colt starting usually within 90 days consists of this. They're taught groundwork. They're taught that a lot, as y'all can see. I do a lot of groundwork, and they're also taught to accept the saddle. Notice I'm using the word they're taught. They're not made to. They're taught to accept the saddle. They're taught to accept pressure, to learn how to give to it. They're taught to handle stimulus all around them, what we all call being desensitized. I call it just stimulus around them, teaching them how to handle commotion and noise around them. that consists of taking the first rides on them. If they're here long enough, that consists of putting a bridle in their mouth, a bit in their mouth. Usually my preferred choice is a D-ring snaffle. Has really nothing to do with the rings. I've just always used a D-ring, and I like them. What else that consists of is getting them started in the bridle. I didn't say finished. This colt here, he started in the bridle. So what my program does not consist of is being able to condition and trail ride your horse. Now, I would love to be able to say that I could, but I keep 5 to 6 horses in training at all times, and that's a day's worth right there. So I don't have a whole lot of time to go for long trail rides. I've got a beautiful farm here around me that I can ride on, and I do. I didn't say I'd never get them out, but to condition them and get them up the hill, down the hill, through the creek, you know, over the log and all that, I ain't gonna promise you that I'll be able to commit that much time to it. But I do some of it. But it consists of getting them started. The problem-solving end of it means that if a horse comes to me with a particular problem that is either dangerous or you know, just not needs to be, then I'll work on that problem. And then if I find other problems in between that, then I'll work on those too. So, you know, I could go with a list of problems, and I won't, just to save some time, but problems with horses I work with. Now, most of the time I do problem horses on a week-by-week basis of staying in close contact with the owner, telling them how much progress I've made, what I think that it's going to take, and then we all kind of huddle up and get a plan together and figure out what we're going to do. So that's kind of what I do for a living. So I just wanted to go over that because I've noticed in the past it's been a little bit confused. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to let him know I got my spurs on. You can see, I can see him, y'all may not, but I'm tapping him, I'm just bumping him with my spur, and I can watch his ears and his expression, and he knows I've got something on. So what I'm going to start doing today is I'm going to start teaching him to move his forehand around his hind quarter. In other words, pivot on his hind quarter and move his front shoulders over. So the way I like to do that is I like to get them started in a circle, tip their nose to whatever desired side I'm going to start with. This side's going to be to the right. And I'm going to start asking him with my left spur and my left rein to move this shoulder over. So as we go forward here, get him walking out, I'm going to press right here. I'm going to press and I'm going to hold. I'm going to press and I'm going to hold, waiting on this right there. That one little step of separating that brisket right there, boom, he stepped over with that right leg. So we'll go back through that process again. We'll get him walking out. Now in the middle of all that, when he goes to keep walking forward, then I gotta what? Teach him to come back on his hindquarters. So in other words, I'm saying, hey, I need you just to rock back on your hindquarters and move that shoulder over. So right here, we're going to ask him with my left spur and left rein. We'll explain this left rein to you here in just a minute. There comes a step around, waiting on this right leg, right there. Hey, it's slow. It's slow. This old horse here, he's got a little bit of a time lapse between cue and doing it anyway. So right here, I'm just going to ask this whole colt to move out a little bit, get a little fire under him. Now we're going to ask him again right here. We're going to ask him to move away from this left side, and we'll talk about this left rein in just a minute. You notice I got to kind of stay in his mouth a little bit. You notice me pecking with my right there it comes. Here it comes. Let's get another one out of him. Right there, that's nice. Here comes another one right there. Let's finish up on one. Right here now, I got to get after him just a little bit. That's where we're struggling with this colt. He ain't got no energy. He's got energy, he just don't want to use it. So we'll ask him to step over here with that right leg right there. That's good, moving that shoulder over. Now once I lay my rein on that horse's neck, that's all I can do with that rein. If I keep going and I keep going, look what happens. I pull on the other side of the mouth. Now that's going to the right, of course. So once I lay this rein on here, everybody wants to keep tugging and pulling, but look what you're doing. You're talking to the wrong side. You're just laying that rein against him, and that's all you can do. And you're keeping that nose tipped, and you're asking him to roll back a little bit, and then you're pushing. It's mostly with your leg. So right here, we're going to ask him to move that shoulder over from a standstill. He's already backing up right there. Right there. Roll him back right here. Right there. You can see me being really expressive with my body. Right here, we got to get some life in. You can hear him grunting and carrying around. There it comes. And you can see him gaping his mouth. Right there. You can see him gaping his mouth and carrying on. And all that will leave. I'm not worried about it. So same thing this way. Once I lay my right rein on him, that's it. That's all I can do. If I keep pulling and keep pulling, I'm going to pull this right side of his mouth, and that's not what I want. So we're going to ask him to move out in the left circle now. Tip that nose to the left. Lay this right spur and this right rein on him. And ask him to what? Move this forequarter over. Right here, I'm going to poke a little bit, gouge, if you will. He's got to start learning to listen to it. Right here, I'm going to gouge a little bit. I didn't say harpoon. Look at that. I didn't say harpooning. Right there. I just walk him out. Right here. You hear him grunting. You can hear that tail, but he needs to learn to move out. So right here, while we're doing this, we're going to get this left nose, this nose tip to the left, lay this right rein on him, push with this right leg, we'll gouge, we'll wait, right there it comes. Now it looks ugly. Hey, it's going to look a whole lot uglier. Right there it comes. Before it gets any, right there. Before it gets any better, it's going to look even uglier. I'm just going to be honest with you. But what I like about this is it teaches that horse that you can pull on his mouth a little bit. I think we're so worried about. Excuse me a moment. He needs to listen. I think we're so worried about hurting these horses' mouth. And I'd like to think that I was lighter than most people ever dreamed of being with the reins. But there's times that I'm pulling on their mouth. You've got to teach them. The only way that you're going to get them to give is to pull on them. Now, I always start off light, but I don't get as wrapped up in the lightness as, now let me rephrase that. I don't get as wrapped up as starting with one. If one being light and 10 being, a lot of pressure, one being mild pressure, I don't get all wrapped up into one, and then we'll go to 2, and then we'll go to 3, and then we'll go to 4, and we keep getting. No, I have a firm belief to start off with maximum pressure from the get-go to tell them, look, if you don't want that back, then move away from it or give to it. I don't know if that makes sense or not. I do it on the ground when I'm pulling on them. I call it the 10. I'm the same way with this. If I'm going to pull him right here, I'm not going to go, oh, easy, easy, and then, no, I'm going to go ahead and with a little bit of finesse, I don't mean with just ripping his head, but with a little bit of finesse, I'm going to go ahead and add the maximum amount of pressure so they'll know. And then once they start giving to that once or twice, then I don't have to go to them anymore because they don't want that back. I hope that makes sense. So right here, I'm going to ask him to tip that nose to the right, put this left leg and left rein. You can see him running through it right there. Running through it. Here it comes. Boom. Right there. We're going to continue this circle. Now, if you notice, as I start to ask him, he kind of walks into it. And I ain't going to say I like him to do that, but there's a lot of different ideas on how to get these horses to move off your legs and things. And if he wants to kind of drift into that for a moment, that'd be fine with me because he's got to learn where his boundary is. So right here, as I start to ask, see, I'm asking already. I'm asking him to move that shoulder. Right there. See, now he finally figured out, okay, how can I get this spur to go away? Let me do that again. I'm just going to tip his nose. and I'm only going to use my left leg. Got my left rein on him. Now I'm going to start pushing, pushing, pushing. Look at here. How can I get that? Look at that. I didn't personally, with the reins, ask him to stop and move that front end over. He chose to because he knows that's where it goes away at. Let's do that again. Watch this. Tip that nose to the right. Put that left rein on him. I'm going to start asking with my left leg. See, I'm not asking him to stop. Look at that. Now he comes over. We'll ask him right here. I'm not asking him to stop. He's stopping. Look at that. He's stopping on his own. And he's saying, okay, how can I please this man? How can I please him? There he comes. Good. Now let's go this way. Same thing. I'm going to tip his nose to the left now, and I'm going to lay the right rein on him, but I'm just going to start chastising him, aggravating him with this right spur until he says, how can I get this deal to go away? So here we go. I'm going to start asking with this right foot. Here it goes, right there. I did not ask him to stop and move like that. Oh, I did, but I mean, I didn't go over with it. I leave it up to him. Figure it out. Figure it out on your own. That's why I like to do this in a pen. Because if he wants to trot off, you know, I still got control of it. So right here, I'm going to ask him, I'm going to tip his nose to the left, put this right rein on him. Now I'm just going to simply start chastising, look, with my right spur. Now he's not doing it yet. Hold on, here it comes. Right there, right there, right there. Look at that. Ain't that cool? You know, I left it up to him. I'm like, okay, you need to figure out what I want. And when you give me what I want, I'm going to release. And he says, oh, this is making sense. So right here, I'm going to tip his nose to the right, put my left rein on him, and I'm just going to start asking with my left leg. Look, look, here it comes. Now I'm going to let him figure it out. Figure it out, figure it out, figure it out. There it comes. It's not too fast. It's not as good as that other way, but he did it. He did it. Right here, I'm going to ask him to move out. Not in a trot. Tip his nose to the right, put my left rein on him, start chastising him with this right foot, right leg. There it comes. There it comes. Look at that. Good. Give him time to think about that. So let's recap. What did I do? Well, I set this up. I showed him first by over-exaggerating. I showed him by asking him to come back on his haunches while I was asking him to move his shoulder over. Now, once I showed that to him, and he figured out that it's a whole lot easier to move his shoulder with his weight distributed back than it is to move his shoulder with all of his weight on his shoulder. Once he figured that out, then I started, what did I do? I started leaving it up to him. You figure it out. We micromanage these things too much and we make them like robots. And you can see it in their eyes. They're like a trained robot. They're like a program. I don't quite want that. I want this horse to use his head. I want him to think. I want him to think his way out of this situation, so to speak. So let's go at it again. Now that I've got that tool, look, when I want to go the other way, I can set him up and go the other way without this mule plowing him around. So now we're going to come in here, get a little forwardness going. We're going to lay this right rein on him. We'll tip that nose a little bit to the left. And I'm going to start asking him with this right foot. You can see him bumping his nose out of it. He's trying to figure out how to place his feet. Here we go. Now he's backing up. That ain't what I want. So I'm going to stay in here until he what? Till he gives me right there. Now with every progression, let me explain something. With every little bit of progression you get regression. So, and if you're wondering if I'm hurting him with my spurs, then keep wondering because I'm not. So right here, we're going to tip him to the left again. We're going to chastise him with this right foot. Just going to chastise him. Here it comes. Boom. You might say, what? That's slow. Well, hey, we just started it 10 minutes ago. What do you want? What do you want? A reining horse already? A spinning horse? I don't think so. So you just build on it. tip his nose to the right, lay this left rein on him, and start chastising him with this left spur. Right there. Right there. Now how do you get speed? Well, right there. Sometimes you gotta get a little bit crazy. I mean, you gotta get a little bit active on it and say, hey, I need you to perk up. So we'll chastise him with my right leg right here a little bit. Ask him to move his shoulder. Oh, right there. It's pretty cool. So what I learned about, it's been about 10 years ago now. It's been about 10 years ago that once you get some of these moves out of these horses, right here you think he's confused. Now, so what I learned about 10 years ago is that once you get some of this out of these horses, a few good moves, hey, leave them alone. Just leave them alone. That's going to be it. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to introduce him to the road here. I'm going to walk him down the road and back, and we're going to let that be a session. So Jesse Ann, if you don't mind to move that bench right there and open the gate for Bailey. Bailey's going to keep filming. Bailey, you just pay attention to the camera there. When Jesse Ann opens that up, you just back up to that post right there behind you.
Okay.
And I will just come right out of here. We'll go for a little walk down the road. It'll be the first time out of the barn. I mean, as far as without no fences. We're just going to ride this colt right down through here. See them ears up and running up and around. That's good. Won't be able to talk a whole lot. We're just going to go down the road a little bit. Right here, he's having a moment going from asphalt to gravels. This will be good for y'all to see. This is what you go through sometimes with these colts. So why is he doing that? Well, he's unsure. He don't know. Why don't you come up here over the bush hole?
Alright.
So right there, he gives me a try. I'll rub him for him. Make sure neighbors ain't coming. We'll keep on. I'm going to stay after him till he gives me what? Some forwardness. Right there. Let him think about that. Your arm's getting tired, babe?
Nah.
You all right, ain't you?
Yep.
Good. Ask him to move forward right here. Now look at that. What a little bit of patience does. See what he's doing is Bailey can show you. He's not knowing the ground right here with that. Going from asphalt to gravel. I go through it with about all of them. They'll figure it out. Just got to let them get their nerve up here. But right here, he needs to go on forward a little bit. Give me a try. This is where the human, most of the time, fails the horse because they ain't strong enough to get them through it. And that's what makes a good horse, is being strong enough to get him through and teach him. And we're going to let him think about that. You can hear him snorting and a blowing. Now once he's going to leave us a present in the road. Bailey says, uh-oh. Done scared the poop out of him, Bay.
Yeah.
Ain't we?
You always said that ever since I was 5 years old.
Scared the poop out of him?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Now we're just going to ask him to move out here. He's got to graduate from here. So he went a little bit further that time. I'm going to stop and rub him right here. He went a little bit further. He's all right. He just don't know. Right there. As long as he gives me a try. Now, if you think he's bad about going from asphalt to gravels, what do you think he's going to do out, you get him out? Okay, let's talk about this. Why is he like this? Ain't he never been out and about before? Well, he's raised outside his whole life. But when you get on them, it's different. When they're doing it on their own and following another horse, they're following the leader. Now he's the leader. I'm behind him, pushing him forward. He's saying, hey, I can't do this. See what I mean? It's different. Had another horse in front of him, and some people like to do that. I don't. I like to teach these things by themselves. gonna get desperate here in a minute. Gotta give me a try here. A lot of people would already got another horse or feed. I've seen it all. Lady, come on over here now. Look at this. And everything. But it don't teach them. This teaches them. If this is all I get done for the first time outside, be okay. All right, we're gonna ask him again here. Ask him again. He needs to move on. There's what I wanted, him to put that head down. This is why colt starting ain't always a bed of roses. Colt starting is a lot of work if you do it right. If you notice, I'm riding him forward. Now here's what I want him to do is sniff. I'm riding him forward. Up and forward, encouraging, not sitting back here going, come on, get on across through there. No, I'm riding him with forwardness. Look how far forward my hands are. I'm encouraging him to go forward. See, once he gets his eyes down there and he levels that up and sees that that's not a big deal, we're almost there. He's going to step right across it. See there, he needs to do that. See, he needs to sniff that. If he was out by himself, he would sniff it. He would look at it. The reason I got his head up is because he felt like he was going to fall. Now we're getting there. What's that old saying? Nose first and maybe the feet. There he goes. There he goes. Good.
Yay.
Yay. Everybody clap.
I could clap, but I have a phone in my hand.
Now we'll go back up here, see how he wants to do this now. Look at that. Go back up here. I think you got her now, baby.
Yep.
All right, just gonna go for a little walk down and back and be right back. Baby, just stand here. You can zoom in if I get too far away, okay?
Okay. It's a little hot today. Look at my sister. This is as far as I can zoom in. Won't zoom in no more. Sorry. Just move out of the way if a car comes.
All right, I'm gonna come back in the driveway, girls. Just go back up on the bank, Dave. Keep filming. Felt pretty good today. Just follow me right back in the barn. Sissy, will you open the gate for me? Good to have all these pretty girls to help you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. All right, so that was a pretty good little fun workout with Drifter today. And we'll ask him just to back off my legs here a moment. Now, spurs can be a good thing, and just now I kind of did the opposite of what I said I'd do. I said I didn't really, and I wouldn't call that out there trying to get him on the gravels gouging. I would call that encouraging. There's a big difference. My legs were doing a lot, but I wasn't slamming my spur into his side, but it was just enough to create some persuasion. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I know I did. I love working these colts. It's trying sometimes. You got to be really patient, but I enjoy it. So I hope all that made sense, and thank you for watching, and God bless. Hello everyone, I just wanted to show y'all right after this video what I usually do. I don't ever video and let y'all know after the video what I do, but this is what I do. I tie these horses up, and as you can see, I've got a snaffle bit in his mouth without any reins, and I like to hang them bridles and bits in their mouths. Preferably this would work better if I had a tie area that didn't have any post. In other words, almost like a two posts in the ground with one in the middle on top, you know, and tied in the middle of that to where they ain't got anything to rub on or anything. But I like to let them sit here and still yet learn how to pick that bit up and chew on it and hold it in their mouth. And there's a lot left to do after I work these things. Usually if my wife is here, Burgundy, she will clean the stalls while I'm working the horse, but she's not here today. So here's what we do. We tie them up, let them think about the session, and clean their stalls and let them stand there. And if they're learning the bridle, that is, let them chew on that bit and pick it up and hold it in their mouth and learn more about it. So just wanted to show y'all that. And again, just keep on keeping on with these horses, and God bless you, and we'll talk to you soon.